kindergarten, we were asked what we would like to do when we get older. And I am glad to say that as a senior, my dream is still the same, and the person that I look to for advice in the field of occupation that I wish to go is still the same. That occupation is to be a farmer or a farm manager, and I looked to Kracht, who is my dad, and I interviewed him. He owns and operates our family's farm. He is self-employed, so most of his day-to-day work is on or around our yard. I set up the interview while visiting in our living room one evening. It was a very comfortable setting to use, and it was very comfortable for me doing one of my first interviews ever to interview someone that I knew well and was comfortable around. First, we will look at what a day of a farm manager looks like. In the morning, usually in the morning, feeding livestock takes 4 to 5 hours, and in the early afternoon, cleaning cattle pens and bedding cattle, walking through, checking cattle for any sick or lame. In the spring and fall, obviously preparing for the crop and planting and harvesting. Another big part of my dad's day that I didn't realize before doing this interview is marketing, buying and selling of cattle and crops, buying feed, and using the Board of Trade to ensure profit and minimize risk. Secondly, we'll go over the importance of communication for a farm manager. Communication is very important, as my dad pointed out. In marketing, on a daily basis, he uses communication to communicate with a broker for the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, to buying and selling of markets and cattle. And buying and selling of crops would be on a weekly or monthly basis depending on the time of year, and this is usually done through a local cattle buyer or local elevator. And communicating with the cattle feed nutritionist on a weekly basis to figure rations and vaccination protocols. Communication training for my dad consists of standard high school speech classes, and the rest was learned on the go. Next, we'll move on to training he has in the field and the training he wishes he had. He has a high school degree and decided he wanted to get on with his occupation and not attend college. Says he often wishes he had learned more about markets earlier in high school, either that or attend a vocational college for marketing. He also is quick to admit that this may be beneficial, but there is no concrete way that a market moves. It is constant learning. Much like me, he grew up on a farm, so he had many experiences, many hands-on experiences, and he learned much from his dad, who was also a farm manager. Lastly, I will tell you about some ongoing training and learning experiences that have improved his managing skills. There's no mandatory education requirements to be a farm manager, but he occasionally attends marketing meetings, also occasionally nutritional meetings, usually once a month, and attends ag technology meetings such as GPS and auto steer technology. This assignment was beneficial to me because it helped me see the day-to-day dealings that my dad faces. It opened my eyes to what I will be facing in the future if I continue down this career path. I have definitely learned that my communication is essential, and being a good communicator is needed to be a successful business person. What was intriguing to me was the marketing side of being a farm manager. As a kid, I have helped in many of the daily cattle and crop chores, but I did not realize the importance of being an effective marketer. It really minimizes risk. After doing this interview, my desire to follow in my father's footsteps as a farm manager has only